All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. My name is Karen Kohler, Head of U.S. Marketing for Umbraco, and I'm so excited to have you all join us today featuring one of our very first Umbraco US Platinum Partners, Emergent Software. Today, let's talk more about choosing the right CMS platform for your digital strategy, Umbraco or Sitecore. If you have any questions today during the presentation, please feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll make sure to address them at the end of our session today. But without further ado, please join me in welcoming Tom Parker, Director of Sales with Emergent Software. Tom?
Thank you very much, Karen. And thank you to the entire Umbraco team for helping us sponsor this event today. And thank you all for joining us. Just going to set the stage quickly here for the conversation that we're going to have here today. Talk you through our agenda. Just going to go through brief introductions. Kevin, I'm not seeing the agenda quite yet. If you're there, we go. Give you guys just an overview of Sitecore and Umbraco. Kevin is going to talk through a feature comparison of the pros and cons of each. Have some real end user data in terms of what our users are saying about their experience with both Sitecore and Umbraco, and then finally how Emergent Software can help. And then we will have some time for Q&A towards the end. So if you do have any questions, we will do our best to get those answered. So just by way of introductions in terms of who is going to be speaking to you today. Again, my name is Tom Parker. I lead the sales organization here for Emergent Software. I'm joined by a couple of my colleagues, Kevin Mylander, one of our lead software engineers, and then Mike Allen will be jumping in with some of his insights during the presentation, and he is our Director of Software Engineering. So, since most of you are not familiar with who we are, just want to give you just a brief introduction to who Emergent Software is. Karen gave you just a brief snapshot of our partnership with Umbraco, but essentially Emergent Software, we are a full stack technology partner specializing in bringing ideas and implementation through strategy and engineering. We're a very fast growing organization, really seeing some good growth over the past couple of years. And we've been able to achieve that by what you see on the right. We are really focused on long-term trusted partnerships with our customers. We are not just looking for one project to do with the customer. We're really looking to get involved with the customer's business and work with them on a year-over-year basis. We are focused on solutions and being an engineering-led organization. We view ourselves as a consulting partner, obviously. And we know that our clients are looking at us to bring, thought leadership, guidance, insights into all of our interactions. So that is very much where we are focused as an organization. In terms of how we engage with customers, we can be very flexible. It is not a one-size-fits-all approach when you work with us. We kind of want to meet you where you are and make it easy to do business with us. In terms of what we do, we're here today to talk about kind of software development and web development, but just so you're aware, we also have a very large cloud transformation business. Kind of what that means is we're helping customers really to do more within the Microsoft ecosystem. That means all things Azure, helping customers get more value out of their M365, O365 investment, helping customers to standardize more on the Microsoft platform. So we certainly can help if you have needs in those areas. We also have a very large data engineering practice here at Emergent Software. So helping customers to organize their data, do more with their data, really kind of get into the analytics so that you can make better decisions and ultimately make better choices and better reporting for not only your customers, but your end users as well. So why we think we're qualified to have this conversation. The CMS space, it's a crowded space. However, we view Umbraco and Sitecore as the leaders within that space. And they are the two platforms that we choose when we're working with customers on web development projects to go to market with. We have invested a lot of time and energy into obtaining, certifications within both CMS platforms. We've done numerous implementations with both of these companies. Umbraco has been a great partner of ours, really kind of an up and coming partner of ours. And there's some reasons for that Kevin will get into. But both organizations have features that we feel can be a fit for some of our customers. And it's up to us to help you guys make the appropriate choice. But just know we have a lot of experience working with both. And Kevin's going to get into kind of a feature comparison so that, if you are considering one over the other, you're better equipped to make that choice following this discussion. So thank you all for your time, and I will kick it over to Kevin.
Great, thanks, Tom. So yeah, let's start out by just giving an overview of what Sitecore and Umbraco are. So Sitecore is a digital experience platform, or DXP, and provides software for content management, digital marketing, and e-commerce tools. The platform started in 2001 in Copenhagen, Denmark, built on Microsoft's .NET framework. Over the years, there have been lots of improvements, and today they offer a suite of products for your digital marketing needs. There are two levels of licensing. The Sitecore Experience Manager, or Sitecore XM, includes the core content editing capabilities, while Sitecore Experience Platform, or Sitecore XP, adds in advanced marketing capabilities such as personalization, A/B testing, and email marketing. But this is not their only CMS offering. They also have a fully headless cloud managed offering called XM Cloud. This was introduced in 2022 and is a SaaS product, meaning they manage the CMS platform, so you only have to worry about your implementation. It utilizes a headless architecture, so the front end is completely independent from the CMS, allowing your project to use whatever features or technology you want. But most people leverage their accelerators built from React to allow developers to more easily get started in utilizing modern JavaScript frameworks. XM Cloud has the Sitecore name and a similar admin interface, but the underlying technologies and how developers use them is totally different between the two systems. The two products have similar features but work in different ways, and XM Cloud has quickly gained in popularity. Besides the CMS, Sitecore also has a suite of other add-ons such as search, digital asset management, personalization, and more that can integrate with your CMS solution. Serving more than 3,000 enterprises from around the globe, and having recently surpassed 500 million in annually recurring revenue, they are a key player in the CMS and digital experience space. Umbraco is focusing on providing a great content management experience, ensuring a friendly editing experience as well as a friendly developer experience. Released in 2004, also in Denmark, and also on Microsoft .NET framework, it's evolved greatly over the years. It had a major rewrite in 2021 with Umbraco 9, updating its code base to .NET Core to utilize the next generation of Microsoft's framework. This brought with it a greater performance and greater flexibility, bringing the platform to a new level. Rather than trying to have the CMS do it all, they're focusing on content editing, doing that really well, as well as being able to extend and integrate with other systems. Each business has different needs, so what might work best for one may not work for another. Umbraco positions itself as a composable digital experience platform, or composable DXP. They prioritize Umbraco's ability to work with other systems, such as your marketing email system or ERP, and they encourage third-party partners to build on top and integrate with Umbraco. Umbraco has their own add-on products, which are great, but they acknowledge they may not work for everyone. And with the open source nature, everyone's on a level playing field, so they won't box out competition. It is open source, which means it has no license costs for the core CMS. And the open source nature encourages people from the community to make contributions. However, that does not mean anyone can. There is a commercial entity making sure that the project meets certain standards. The code base is managed by Umbraco HQ, a privately held company which provides the roadmap and vision of the product. They're the ones that make most of the changes on the CMS code base, but the community will also submit pull requests to contribute. Umbraco HQ will test and review these updates to make sure they do not introduce issues and that they fit the guiding principles of the CMS before accepting them. Umbraco HQ has always been the organization responsible for the Umbraco codebase. However, they have changed a lot in recent years. In 2021, Montero, a Nordic private equity firm, acquired a majority stake in Umbraco HQ. They have expertise in both the CMS and the open source space, and they've helped to bring Umbraco to the next level. Umbraco HQ now has offices in Denmark and America and has seen 30% year-over-year growth in revenue over the last 3 years, showcasing their ability to scale sustainably while expanding their market. In addition to supporting the core CMS, they provide a suite of paid products around Umbraco that they have built themselves or have acquired. This includes Umbraco Cloud, a managed hosting service option for Umbraco websites. Built on Microsoft Azure, it allows businesses to easily host their website. They take care of all the infrastructure setup so you don't have to, and you can easily set up a new project at the click of a button. And with Umbraco Deploy included, you can easily push your code or content changes from one environment to another. To add e-commerce to your website, they have Umbraco Commerce. After installing, you can configure your store's shipping, payment, and other settings based on your business needs, and even manage your orders right in Umbraco. And it includes a headless API, providing the flexibility for how you build your store front end. They have Umbraco Engage for advanced marketing capabilities, such as personalization and A/B testing, allowing marketers to use first-party analytics to gain insights to what users are doing on their website, and lets them do custom campaigns to drive users to configured goals. These are just a few examples of the growing Umbraco add-ons capability that they offer. In addition to add-ons, Umbraco HQ also provides paid support services for your Umbraco installation if you need it, and manages the developer and partner network, providing training and certifications on Umbraco. They are profitable and focusing on expanding their business, but are still committed to the open source values of honesty and transparency as they evolve as a company. While Umbraco does not have the same name recognition as Sitecore in the US, it is growing fast. It is incredibly popular in Europe and the UK, and has a wide community of businesses and developers using the system all over the globe.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Mike Allen, Director of Software Engineering, and I wanted to jump in with some extra perspective here. So my background was as a developer, and now I've actually been working with both these platforms for a little over 10 years. First as a developer, and now as a partner. So I'd like to give my perspective on how both companies have changed over the past 10 years based on my inside knowledge of each of them. So rewind to 10 years ago, Sitecore was already established in the US. They're a Danish company, but they had an early focus on marketing within the US. They had private investors and that were seeding them, and they were seeing 30% year-over-year growth at the time. Some of the technology was already feeling dated, but they were by far the furthest along in CMS capabilities. They were already a mature company focusing on marketing and growth for the future. At the same time, 10 years ago, Umbraco was an open source platform focused on being a great CMS. They had an intuitive editor experience and top-notch development capabilities, and their focus was on those two things, and they were really good at it. They had a handful of full-time employees, but they had a strong development community. Developers loved the platform because it was so customizable and fast to work in. So at the time, it was a typical open source tool, a small company with a large community and an incredibly useful tool. Fast forward back to now, Sitecore is twice as big as it was 10 years ago, but growth has leveled off to more like 5% year over year. They still have a big focus on marketing capabilities, and they have a lot of resources at their disposal to drive sales and marketing. They've transitioned to a new technology stack to reduce some tech debt and are feeling some pain from that. Umbraco now is 10 times as big as it was 10 years ago. They now have private investors and a full company behind the product. They've shifted their focus to the US in recent years to complement the large growth they've had in Europe. Now Umbraco is the one growing 30% year over year, similar to what Sitecore was doing 10 years ago. And they've greatly expanded their platform to be more than just a CMS. Both have become powerful CMSs in their own right. Sitecore grew and matured first, but now needs to reinvent itself a little on the technology side. Umbraco has been on the rise for years and is now enjoying exciting growth and new markets. I'll turn it back over to Kevin for a future comparison.
Thanks for that added insight. And yeah, let's look into the feature comparison of between the two systems. So yeah, the question is, how do they stack up with each other? So to meet the challenge of a modern enterprise CMS, your system needs to be able to work for each of the different roles in your company. It needs to make it easy for marketers and content editors to own the content on your digital systems. It needs to let developers customize and configure it to meet your business needs. And it needs to let and leaders need to know that it'll provide value for your business now and to the future. Each system has its strengths and weaknesses. So let's talk about each of these features to see how they compare. Starting with marketers, they're responsible for the website. They need a CMS that is user-friendly, allowing them to navigate and create content easily without extensive technical knowledge. All three systems are great at empowering them to do this. Every system can include a page builder WYSIWYG experience from a library of components that developers have built, as well as a content tray where you can get the raw content view. Sitecore splits these views into separate sections of the admin interface, each with slightly different ways to work. The idea is to separate the content from the presentation in case those are two different roles. But that may not be the case for you. Umbraco only has one editing experience, but it encourages the implementation team to choose what works best based on your content editor's needs. All CMSs have a media library to store assets, but Umbraco's also includes an image cropping library, giving marketers control to how to specify an image will be displayed, ensuring they are optimized. If the built-in asset library doesn't meet your needs, all systems can integrate with the digital asset management, or DAM. Sitecore has their own offering to use with their products, and Umbraco has several integrations available with various DAM platforms on their package marketplace. Marketers also need collaboration tools such as version control, approval workflows to help to streamline the content creation process. Both systems have standard authoring workflows, such as previewing your content before publishing or limiting who can publish content, and more complex workflows can be set up. If your site is global and your content needs to be translated into multiple languages, each system supports multilingual editing, allowing you to translate a piece of content into multiple languages. This can be done within the content editing experience, or a workflow can be set up to work with your translators to ensure all the translated content or all content gets translated and reviewed. Umbraco even has a great side-by-side editing view, which is nice to compare content between the languages. All of them allow your installation to be shared across multiple sites or multiple channels, simplifying the setup if you have lots of brands that you need to manage. For more advanced marketing use cases, such as personalization and A/B testing, Sitecore XP has those features built in, as it is an all-in-one solution, giving you those features whether or not you need them. Sitecore XM Cloud can utilize Sitecore Personalize, which will add personalization to your headless front end. Umbraco can utilize the add-on Umbraco Engage, which integrates seamlessly with Umbraco. It aims to enhance the user experience with intuitive design and complete ownership of data. It provides digital marketers with tools to optimize content, target visitors, manage campaigns using personalization, A/B testing, and other strategies. Overall, these systems work well for marketers and content editors, letting them own their digital content experience and execute strategic campaigns. Next, developers. Developers will need to be able to customize your CMS to meet your business requirements. They need to be able to build the system that provides value to your business and lets marketers do their jobs. And both Sitecore and Umbraco are incredibly flexible in the way that developers can customize and extend it. Working with your design team, developers will create a custom look and feel for your website to ensure that your site matches your brand. Both Umbraco and Sitecore XP leverage .NET MVC, although different versions of .NET, both are similar in how the presentation layer is built. There's a bit more required structure for Sitecore XP that may require a little bit extra work, but both allow developers to build out custom HTML and CSS for the front end of your website. XM Cloud, being a fully headless SaaS product, utilizes JavaScript frameworks as the front end. React is the front end used in the Sitecore documentation and the accelerators, so it's typically used. Using the APIs, content pages are compiled statically, providing fast page load times for the users of your site. Umbraco and Sitecore XP can be configured to provide content via APIs if you need a headless front end, but this is not done as often. However, it is becoming more and more common. And with Umbraco recently expanding their built-in API capabilities, it's easier than ever to support omni-channel experiences on Umbraco. But usually, XP and Umbraco's front end is a bit more tightly coupled with the CMS, so you get a better WYSIWYG page builder experience. Building out a custom editing experience is key to having a good CMS, so your marketers can make the changes they need quickly and easily. And both Sitecore and Umbraco allow your developers to think through that editing experience. Sitecore encourages an organizational structure that can scale to the largest enterprise sites, often requiring extra configuration steps that may not be needed. It's great to know that your site can scale, but for smaller and mid-sized sites that may only have a few thousand pages, it may add unneeded complexity. Umbraco gives you a bit more freedom in your editing structure and lets your development team figure out what works best for your business. Beyond customization, being able to integrate with other systems is critical to your CMS. Your CMS is only part of your digital ecosystem, and everything needs to work as one to provide maximum value. Luckily, all of these systems know this is critical, and all are able to integrate with other systems to get and retrieve data as needed. Regular maintenance and updates are always a pain point for business owners. It takes resources away from features you need, it can put a hold on content editing, and may even introduce other issues in the process. No system can prevent the need for updates, but both Sitecore and Umbraco have worked to make it as easy as possible. Umbraco works to make sure that releases done are on a predictable cadence. So major releases coming out every 6 months, minor changes every 6 weeks, and patches as needed, allowing for smaller changes to be more easily made and with a consistent schedule you can plan around. In addition, every 4 major versions is a long-term support version, or LTS release, meaning it'll remain supported for 3 years, allowing for sites that don't need to take advantage of the newest features to update less frequently. Sitecore XP and XM Cloud do updates as they are ready and continue to support older versions as well. All 3 systems have a managed hosting service, which makes updates easy. Each allows security patches to be automatically applied, while larger changes can be done at a click of a button, so you can validate that nothing breaks after the upgrade. If you're not on their managed hosting, upgrades get a bit more complex. XM Cloud doesn't give you this option to self-host as it's a SaaS offering, but both Umbraco and Sitecore XP allows you to host it yourself using a variety of systems, such as Microsoft Azure or even on-premise machines. Sitecore XP does require it to be on Windows, but Umbraco can be hosted on Windows or Linux servers. Each system has flexibility in how it's set up and distributed across multiple servers. However, the Sitecore setup has more roles, so it typically requires more servers and more resources, possibly making it more complicated and more expensive to manage. There's also not an easy way to upgrade from Sitecore XP to XM Cloud. Sitecore has tools to help with the migration of content, but you will need to rebuild your front end into a new headless project, possibly refactoring other integrations to handle the headless architecture. And again, the system is entirely different in how developers use it. So a developer using Sitecore XP will probably be more familiar moving to Umbraco than XM Cloud, as they both run on .NET. You may even be able to reuse some of the code in the process if you're moving from Sitecore XP to Umbraco. Overall, both Sitecore and Umbraco have the developer tools needed to customize the site to your specific business needs. And finally, leaders. You need, and other leaders in your business need to know that the system will provide value for you and your business now and in the future. It needs to be able to scale to your business, so as you grow, it can grow, being able to handle lots of content, lots of traffic, and serve up items quickly. All the systems are more than capable of handling this. Each one supports load balancing, multiple roles to process things, and large databases. Sitecore's infrastructure typically is set up for very large sites. It may require a bit more work in the process, while Umbraco lets you and developers choose how to set up based on your business needs. Both companies are committed to supporting the application. They ensure that the system is secure and built on a secure foundation. They do regular third-party audits to search for vulnerabilities, and they're quickly to update and roll out security patches if an issue is found. If you do have issues with the system, Sitecore support or the paid Umbraco support can help you. However, they won't help you with they won't work on your implementation, so they're somewhat limited in what they can do. That's why it's critical, whatever system you use, you work with a partner who is an expert in the system, and both have a large networks of partners and developers who can help you. You want to ensure that your project can quickly deliver. Sitecore is often more complex and takes longer to implement than Umbraco. Sitecore is often focused on a very large, complex problem. It loses sight of simpler use cases that many businesses have, requiring extra complexity to do simple things in order to be ready for use cases that businesses may never encounter. Umbraco is fast to get started. There's no delay in license negotiations or lengthy setup in the code base. A developer can have a new site up and running in a matter of minutes. As for the outlook of each system, both Umbraco and XM Cloud are set up to be industry leaders for years to come. Sitecore is used on lots of large sites, but it has a reputation for being complex, and it has 2 somewhat competing CMSs. XM Cloud has been quickly growing in popularity, making many people wonder what is going to happen to Sitecore XP. And with its changing in underlying technology between Sitecore XP and XM Cloud, a lot of developers who have worked in Sitecore XP are unsure about making the change to XM Cloud, looking to stay on other .NET-based systems instead. Sitecore says it's committed to supporting XP, but I would be a little worried about starting a new project on XP and would look to use XM Cloud or a different CMS instead. Umbraco has been fastly growing in recent years and has a clear vision of where to take the project in the future. It stayed updated with current technology trends, recently updating its admin back office to a more modern modular architecture, making it easier than ever to customize. And with their predictable release plan and commitment to transparency, they're easy to plan around. Finally, you want your CMS to be cost effective. You want a low total cost of ownership and a high return on your investment. Umbraco has no license cost for the core CMS. It often requires less resourcing and less cost for hosting. And it may require less time to develop, to implement. It typically has a lower total cost of ownership for your website. That leaves more budget for you to implement your customizations on your system to drive more value. And the Composable DXP approach of Umbraco encourages you to bring in your preferred systems to ensure they work best for you and your business. And letting you only implement what you need now to ensure you get maximal return on your investment. While Umbraco is a smaller company than Sitecore, it is fully capable of handling anything Sitecore does. All three systems can handle the needs of enterprise companies. Each one could be the best solution for you, depending on your needs. And for many enterprise companies, we think Umbraco is a better option. In many cases, it's easier to use, more customizable, faster to implement, and cheaper.
Yeah, so next, Kevin's going to run through some survey results in just a minute. But first, I want to jump in with some of our client and developer feedback on the two platforms. From a marketing perspective, with Sitecore, marketers do like the editing experience once they get used to it, but the ramp up can take a few weeks. Even the most basic Sitecore editing experiences are complex. They often say they need a bigger marketing team to use Sitecore's capabilities. They often don't realize the effort it's going to take to execute a marketing campaign within the tools. Small marketing teams are often torn by wanting to use the tools Sitecore offers, but not having the bandwidth to use them. What marketers say about Umbraco is some clients have never heard of Umbraco before we offer it as a solution. However, once they see a demo and use the site we built them, they love the editing experience. Ramp up is quick and editing is intuitive. Large marketing teams haven't outgrown Umbraco. They integrate their favorite marketing tools right into the CMS and combine tools they're used to with a great CMS. Umbraco can also grow with a company. We've seen clients outgrow their initial implementation, but Umbraco is able to adapt and grow with them. From a developer's perspective, both platforms are .NET, have training programs, and can be highly customized. Sitecore ramp-up takes around 1 to 2 months, and just because there's more proprietary systems to learn and more time spent learning how to use the system itself. Umbraco ramp-up can be as little as 3 days. It's kind of amazing how fast it goes, to be honest. Developers say it feels familiar. It's like writing a custom web app, but they're able to be productive once they learn the basics of Umbraco. Similar tasks tend to take longer in Sitecore just because there's more steps for the implementation and it's more complex. This can be nice when you need to do something truly complicated, but it's often frustrating when they want to implement something simple and quick, but it still need to go through a complex process to do it. We do have developers who love both platforms, though, and prefer to work in one over the other. From a leader's perspective, licensing costs is by far the biggest factor. Sitecore's licensing makes comparable sites 15 to 50% more expensive, and that's a hard pill to swallow. Some clients like that there's a bigger company behind Sitecore platform, especially when Umbraco is smaller. If something catastrophic goes wrong, they feel like there's one company to go after. Of course, this has never actually happened, but it can be comforting to know there's one big company to hold responsible. And finally, speed of delivery is important too. Once our clients have committed to spending budget on a website, they want to get to the finished product as soon as possible. And Umbraco is typically a faster delivery. That's what we're hearing from our developers and customers. But Kevin, what trends are we seeing from broader reviews?
Yeah, using the site G2, we can compare what other users think of the system. So G2 is an independent platform specifically for software and services. They gather real user reviews to rate each system. It's a trusted source for businesses and individuals looking to make informed decisions about the technology they use. And users in G2 love Umbraco. Users in G2 agreed Umbraco was able to meet their challenge, with 87% saying Umbraco was able to be customized to meet their business requirements versus only 73% for Sitecore. And overall, Umbraco was easier, saying it was easier to set up, easier to use, and had a better authoring experience. Because it was easier, it also had a faster go-live time, with the average Umbraco project only taking 4 months. Since the project was faster, you're able to more quickly capture value and get a faster return on your investment. Businesses see a return within 13 months on average, and 43% see an ROI within the first 6 months. Again, part of the great ROI is the fact that Umbraco has no license costs, and with its composable approach, you get to choose which systems you use, removing any unnecessary systems or complexity. And overall, users thought Umbraco was great to work with 89% of users recommending Umbraco to others, 87% thinking Umbraco is a great partner, and 90% thinking Umbraco is headed in the right direction, outscoring Sitecore in every category. I hope you can see why Umbraco is one of the fastest growing enterprises CMSs. It can support the same use cases as Sitecore to deliver value to your digital ecosystem, often more quickly and more cost effectively than Sitecore. Sitecore is popular in the CMS space for a reason. If you have a large marketing team, worry about coordinating multiple campaigns across multiple channels with multiple brands, Sitecore most likely has solved a similar problem and may have more resources to help your team with their solution. Both Sitecore XP and XM Cloud are incredibly powerful content management systems. We think sometimes they're overly complicated depending on your business. So if you're thinking of moving to Sitecore or looking at the high cost of your next Sitecore upgrade, I strongly suggest you check out Umbraco to see if it would be a better fit for your needs. Or if you're on Sitecore XP and are considering moving to XM Cloud and are afraid of the shift in technologies, Umbraco might be a smoother transition for you and your team. Umbraco has the features needed to deliver an enterprise solution. It can be scaled up or down based on your business needs. It has matured greatly in recent years, evolving from a simple CMS to a full digital experience management offering, complete with paid add-ons for more complex business needs. Their focus on editing experience, as well as being able to customize and integrate with other systems, allows you to focus on the features and services that work best for your business. And with no licensing cost, you can spend more on making sure your CMS is set up to support your digital ecosystem. We do think Umbraco is the best solution for many businesses. However, what works best for you all depends on your project. And I can hand over to Mike to talk about how Emergent Software can help you determine what is the right choice for your business.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. A big variable when choosing a CMS is your organization's goals, strategy, and technology landscape. Before we make a specific recommendation, we like to take some time to listen and get to know what makes our clients unique. We offer workshops where we can get to know your organization and help make a tailored recommendations. Some of our workshops include migration consultation. This is to plan how to move your site and content from one CMS to another. Clients typically use this when they've outgrown a smaller CMS or are no longer happy with their current CMS. We evaluate how much content and code can be migrated, as well as help determine which CMS to migrate to. An upgrade consultation, to plan how to stay on your current CMS, but move to the latest version. We see this a lot when a website has fallen behind the latest version, but the client is still happy with their content and design. Some upgrades are simple and some are complex. We can help determine the path forward. Design, UX, and digital strategy. For a marketing-first approach that puts your message in the foreground before choosing a technical solution to support it. This works best for clients who don't have in-house design and want a full-service plan to roll out a new message. And finally, digital experience road mapping. To review your technical landscape and build a plan for how websites, technologies, integrations, and custom applications will work together to support your organization. This is for clients who need more than just content on a website and instead need a deep integration and unique customer experiences. We can also help by leveraging our partnerships with Umbraco, Sitecore, Microsoft, and other companies to ensure you're getting the best possible implementation, advanced support, and discounted costs. Aside from offering workshops, we can also support you with the following services. CMS editing experience build-out. This is which is creating a back office that content editors can leverage to easily manage content on your site. This is a service we take pride in, and we've won a few international awards for it. because when it's done right, it makes content editing so easy. For our clients, this means easier content reuse, faster throughput for new campaigns, and a more consistent brand theme across channels. Custom application development and integrations. Along with website development, we also build custom applications. This additional expertise allows us to take on the most complex integrations that blur the lines between website and custom web app for things like customer portals, custom checkout processes, or product configurators. Code, hosting, accessibility, and security audits. We offer several audits to give you key information on the health of your website or apps. Sometimes clients use these just to make sure everything is in good shape, and sometimes use these because they suspect something's wrong and need an expert opinion. Either way, we're happy to audit any of these and provide back a presentation with our findings and recommendations. Support and maintenance. In addition to building websites and apps, we also offer proactive monitoring and up to 24/7 support along with maintenance bundles to make sure your projects can evolve with your organization and not succumb to tech debt. We're ready to stand behind our products and have systems in place to monitor and fix any problems that might arise. So thanks for joining us today. As a bonus, we're offering a free workshop if you mention this webinar. Just follow the link in the QR code to contact us. And we've received some questions in the Q&A section. So Kevin and I will get to those now. Thanks for adding them and feel free to add more. Rob MIDC, we answered your question, yes. Glad to be able to answer it right in the middle. All right, first one, Kevin, we're already on Sitecore. How would you approach a proactive migration to Umbraco?
Yeah, I think with any migration, I think the first step would be to do a discovery or an audit of the current site. So we need to figure out kind of what your custom functionality is and look at your content structure to figure out how that would work in the new system. And so once we do an audit of what the Sitecore setup looks like, we would figure a plan on how to reproduce that in Umbraco. So if you have custom integrations, looking how to reproduce those in Umbraco. Again, if you're on XP, you're leveraging .NET in both systems. So, we may even be able to reuse some of the code in that process, which is nice. Then there's also the content migration as well, which is kind of a big step of getting the component and content structure out of Sitecore into the Umbraco structure. So luckily, Sitecore has tools to do content exports, so it's easy to get the content out. And then we could figure out how it's going to map into the new Umbraco system and write a script to help with that process. So it's a migration project, so it's you kind of would review or make sure all the function gets moved over, and when it does, you can go live on the new site.
All right, kind of similar question, but not to Umbraco. How complex and time-consuming is the migration process from Sitecore XP to Sitecore Cloud?
Yeah, I think that would probably be very similar in how it's done. I think the Sitecore has more tools to help you with that content structure because the content structure isn't going to change too much, but the bigger lift is going to be on that front end. So, since it's the headless architecture to build out the front end on XM Cloud, you're probably going to have to rebuild all that front end code. We're coming from Sitecore to Umbraco, they're both .NET MVC, so you're more likely to be able to leverage some of that same code and not have to rebuild everything from scratch. But again, it just depends on your project. There's also, because it's headless, you might have to add a middleware in there to do more server-side backend API calls depending on your integrations. So it just kind of depends on the process, but it is kind of more of a rebuild than a lift and shift like you could with some other migrations.
All right, here's an easy one for you. Is marketing suite now called Umbraco Engage?
Yeah, that is correct. So yeah, Umbraco acquired that about a month ago. They announced the new name with Umbraco Engage. That is the new branding on that. And it's now fully owned and managed by Umbraco HQ.
And then we had two that were kind of similar, asking about licensing costs for Sitecore. I'll just read one of them. I appreciate the scale of project will greatly impact the ability to answer this question, but can you share any guides, entry costs for Sitecore licensing for sort of medium-sized ones? I don't know that we can give specific licensing with Sitecore. I know they're a little bit closed with that, right? Is that your impression too, Kevin?
Yeah. Generally, the licensing negotiation happens directly with the end user, and we're not directly part of those, and so we never see the price. And the negotiations do often take a long time to kind of flush out and get locked in, and are generally a large chunk of the project budget.
Yeah, and it's not just a cost, it's based on your company size, traffic size, again, negotiations, you can change the price. Maybe I'll just leave it at 6 figures plus. I haven't seen one smaller than that. Someone else said Sitecore is 6 figures at least. Yep, I agree. With maintenance costs on top of that yearly. All right, finishing those how emergent software support with Umbraco security patches and version upgrades? Does it include an SLA?
Yeah, I guess when Umbraco releases security patches, I mean, if you're on Umbraco Cloud, which is something emergent software likes to have our sites, we're big fans of Umbraco Cloud to host all the sites for this reason, because when a patch or security issue comes out, it automatically gets applied. So there's no additional work it needs. It's kind of happens. For other sites, we have to coordinate. It's a little more work to coordinate a release and make the updates. So we kind of prioritize depending on what the patch and release is, just with other work that's going on that site. But again, good benefit of using Umbraco Cloud for this, because it does just automatically patch that.
And I'll just add that Umbraco Cloud also comes with support from Umbraco just by using cloud, which we like to leverage along with our own support. We kind of think of it as Umbraco supporting their CMS and cloud platform, and we support the custom code and any integrations or things that we've built alongside. We do have SLAs for each of our different support packages. Our sort of more basic ones are like business hours, next day, something like that, up to 24/7 with a 1 hour SLA. So moving from XP to Umbraco is actually less work than on the front end than moving XP to XM Cloud.
It potentially could be. Just again, it's like the change, since they're both on .NET, you can leverage some of that same ideas in both systems. But again, it very much depends on your project and kind of what your site is. So I can't say that for sure, but there's more similarities between XP and Umbraco. Just because they are both leveraging that .NET framework.
Meaning like slightly more technical. They're both .NET MVC using Razor syntax. So you may be able to use a lot of that and just change the variables versus XM Cloud, you have to switch to React, a completely different platform. I've been interested in Umbraco for a while. How do I convince leadership that it's a solid option for a larger organization?
I think with that, just looking at all the features and the services they provide, you can see that they have the needs of the ability to support enterprise businesses. You can also look at just reviews like G2. We covered some metrics on the G2 page, but there's a lot more there. So reading other reviews of other similar sites would be a good way to go to see what that is. If you're working to convince marketers, one thing is to get them in the system. So, we offer demos of Umbraco so you can see what it looks like. We can talk through what your specific editor requirements are or the business problems you're looking to solve, and kind of talk through how Umbraco can solve those. And usually just seeing that in the real world helps a lot.
All right, we're down to the last few questions here. What kind of support and community resources are available for Umbraco developers?
Developers, it's easy to get going. There's a great documentation site of how to use the system. There's also forums and other channels that you can ask and get questions. The community is very involved in this, so they pride on being open and helping each other out. So it's really easy to just, ask a question and likely you'll get an answer. It could just be an entire block of code of like, I have this problem, and you'll get like, a giant code file that gives you exactly what you need. So there's a lot of community resources out there to get if you're looking to get into it as a developer. Umbraco HQ also provides training. So if you want to just get ramped up on the system that way, that's another option.
I thought Sitecore was for enterprise and Umbraco was for small business. Are you saying that's not the case?
Absolutely. So yeah, Sitecore, I think that's like an old way of thinking. So Umbraco has evolved. They can handle any of the use cases of Sitecore. So I know that's kind of an idea that many people have, but I think as we talked through today, that's definitely not the case. And Umbraco can handle the same enterprise business use cases as Sitecore, usually cheaper and easier, just based on everything we talked about today.
Is performance typically the same between Umbraco and Sitecore when it comes to content editing and performance of the actual running site?
I'd say generally the same. So I guess on some of the older versions of Sitecore, the editing experience was really slow. So that's something that a lot of our editors have pain points for, especially like the page builder content experience section of it. So from that side of things, I think Umbraco's even faster than Sitecore. But yeah, as far as loading the front end and stuff like that, it's kind of up to your implementation to make sure you're leveraging all the right caching structures like that. But both systems have those tools built in, so your developers can set that up and serve both sites quickly.
I'll just add that with Umbraco being on .NET 9 and Sitecore, at least XP and the back office being on .NET Framework, there is just a speed difference in that, maybe from a code perspective. When they're actually running, a lot of that comes down to hosting, right? So if they're both in Azure, which we've done both on Azure, they can both be fast, but I think it's safe to say we typically need more resources on a Sitecore site just for its performance. There's a lot more going on under the hood there.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, the next generation of Microsoft .NET has a lot of performance improvements that the Sitecore XP has not been able to leverage.
All right, final question that's I saved the trickiest one for last. How do you determine what CMS solution is best for your clients? Which is our workshop process. I don't know that we can answer this succinctly because there really is so much. We listen first, and that's so much of it. Finding out what other technologies you're using. Do you have developers in-house who are going to want to support it after? What does the future look like? What are your marketing goals? How much of this is a technical project versus a marketing project? Size of everything. Kevin, do you have anything else to add in there that might help determine?
Yeah, I think those are all the high levels. I think, yeah, we really just want to understand what you're looking to get out of your CMS and figure out the solution that works best for you.
Cool. And then someone else just popped in that I think will be our last one. I know you have different workshops. Can you talk about them generally, like how many hours do they take, et cetera? It's typically an hour and a half, 2 hour first meeting. And then depending on the workshop, there can be follow-up meetings or some internal work that Emergent does on our side before coming back to meet again. So first one tends to be more high level, getting all the details, working with decision makers, business leaders. Sometimes we need extra meetings with IT or developers or marketers or whoever we're getting into to get more information. And then we do some work on our side, come back. If it's design, there's going to be iterations on some kind of design concepts. We work through a solution plan with decision makers and then usually present in a 1 hour meeting at the end our recommended approach for what we're suggesting. All right, well, thank you everybody for those questions. And Karen, that's we've gotten through all our questions now.
Wow, that's great. All right, thank you so much for that. Just adding on to something that Kevin mentioned, if you do have questions about more about the Umbraco community, I definitely encourage you to head over to the Umbraco website. Our community globally is over 200,000 individuals, so there's a lot of great, brilliant minds in there. And the community does work hand in hand with Umbraco HQ, our corporate headquarters in Denmark. There's all different options. It's a choose your own adventure, if you will. You can attend at a community event. You can explore packages. You can jump into connecting with us on our Umbraco community Discord. A lot of great options for you. So I definitely encourage you, head over to Umbraco, click on community, and there's a great drop down of different options for you that you would be interested in. But that being said, I would like to say a special thank you to our presenters today. Emergent Software is a wonderful business partner of Umbraco, and we're very thankful for that partnership. If you want to review today's webinar, we will be sharing with you afterwards. Keep an eye out for an email of today's recording. And definitely I encourage you to scan that QR code up there and have a no-cost workshop with Emergent if you'd like to learn some more information. That being said, thank you all very much for joining us today, and have a great rest of your week. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.